The Good Brother Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows announced their entry into the Royal Rumble. In an SK Wrestling exclusive, Vince Russo reveals that Vince McMahon approved 2 WWE storylines despite they know that it would fail, and AJ Styles praises Ricochet on Twitter. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's SK Wrestling News Roundup. The Good Brothers announced their entry into the WWE Royal Rumble. Impact Tag Team Champion Carl Anderson has announced the Good Brothers' entry into the WWE Royal Rumble. Taking to Twitter, the Machine Gun noted that any superstar is eligible to announce their entry into the Royal Rumble, and that is also the case with the Good Brothers. Of course, Anderson's tweet isn't to be taken seriously, and the former WWE Raw Tag Team Champion is clearly being sarcastic with his comments. As a matter of fact, the Machine Gun was just responding to Brian Gerwitz, who questioned about WWE superstars declaring themselves for the Royal Rumble. Both Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows were let go by WWE in 2020. The former members of the OC, Anderson and Gallows, found a decent amount of success in the company, winning the Raw Tag Team Championship twice and the WWE Tag Team World Cup. Following their release from WWE, Carl Anderson had teased a potential return to New Japan Pro Wrestling as he announced the return of the Machine Gun moniker. However, that wasn't the case, and the Good Brothers signed with Impact Wrestling. Currently in possession of the Tag Team Championships at Impact, Anderson and Gallows have played a vital role in building the relationship between Impact and AEW. The two promotions recently started working alongside with each other, which resulted in the Good Brothers reuniting with AEW World Champion Kenny Omega as well. The trio has made quite the noise in Impact Wrestling, and it remains to be seen how the group plans on dominating both AEW and Impact Wrestling. Cody takes a shot at WWE Superstars talk show. Cody took an amusing jab at Bayley's new talk show in his latest tweet, addressing the absence of Britt Baker action figure in the new AEW Unrivaled series. AEW's next wave of action figures includes names like Cody, Kenny Omega, Matt Hardy, and Sammy Guevara. The lineup does not include a female action figure, and many fans aren't happy about that. One fan tweeted that he's waiting for Britt Baker's action figure and got a response from Cody himself. Cody said that after his recent experience on Britt Baker's Ding Dong Waiting Time show, she'll be waiting for a long while before she gets an action figure of her own. Britt Baker stated that she wanted to see Cody on Bayley's new talk show on SmackDown. The show, dubbed Ding Dong Hello Show, debuted on the latest edition of the Blue brand and featured Bianca Belair as the first guest. Bayley noticed Britt's tweet, and it seemed like she would love to have Cody on the talk show. With Cody being WWE's competition and judging by his tweet, there's no way we will be seeing him on Bayley's show anytime soon. Bayley is currently doing the best work of her WWE career as a heel on SmackDown. She was the SmackDown Women's Champion for over a year before losing the belt to Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell. As for Britt Baker, let's hope that she gets her action figure soon. Vince McMahon approved 2 WWE storylines despite knowing they would fail in this SK Wrestling exclusive. Former writer Vince Russo has given us thoughts on why Vince McMahon allowed Jim Cornette to manage various WWE superstars in the late 90s. As a part of an NWA invasion of WWE, Cornette briefly managed Jeff Jarrett on WWE TV in early 1998. He then joined forces with Bodacious Bart and Bombastic Bob to form the new Midnight Express. Russo appeared on the latest edition of SK Wrestling's Off the Script with Dr. Chris Featherstone. He revealed that Vince McMahon only approved of the storylines because of Cornette had pitched the ideas. According to Russo, the WWE chairman knew that the alliances would not work out. Here's what Vince Russo had to say in this exclusive clip of Off the Script with Dr. Chris Featherstone.
Another thing I wanted to ask you real quick, the Owen spot, the Jarrett, Jarrett hits him and before he comes in, what was the rhyme and reason behind Jarrett? I mean, he came up with Cornette, and Cornette hosted. He managed Jarrett at the time. He was the NWA North American champion or something like that.
That was another rib, bro. That was another rib where like Cornette would sit in the meetings and talk about midnight, and Rock and Roll Express and all that stuff. And Vince was like, okay, fine, we'll put that out there, and it will fall flat on its face. And Bro, that's how a lot of it works. Like, there's always a reason for everything, bro.
You can watch full episodes of Off the Script with Dr. Chris Featherstone on our Facebook watch page and our YouTube channel. Renee Paquette has a request for Vince McMahon on Twitter. Former WWE announcer Renee Paquette has invited the chairman of WWE, Vince McMahon, to oral sessions with Renee Paquette following her conversation with AEW president Tony Khan. Renee Paquette had Tony Khan on her latest podcast, and the duo discussed a variety of topics. Following the episode, a fan suggested Renee should invite Vince McMahon to her podcast. Renee Paquette seemed quite excited at the prospect of having Vince on the podcast and asked him herself if he would be interested in having a chat with her. Paquette was initially a backstage interviewer with the WWE, but later got promoted to an announcer position on WWE's top brands including Raw and SmackDown. Paquette is doing well for herself as a podcast host and has already had great guests on her show like CM Punk, Jon Moxley, and Tony Khan. A conversation between Vince McMahon and Renee Paquette would undoubtedly be worth the fans' time, but the chances of that happening are unfortunately small. AJ Styles praises incredible to Ricochet on Twitter. AJ Styles has taken to Twitter to praise his most recent opponent, Ricochet. The phenomenal one and the one and only squared off on the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw to determine who would earn themselves a spot at the upcoming Royal Rumble match. The match was beautiful to watch from start to finish and has been praised by fans online from across the globe. Now AJ Styles has posted a tweet in support of the man he toppled on Monday night to earn his place in the Royal Rumble. It's apparent that Styles holds Ricochet in a very high regard, considering to be one of very few who is capable of producing the action he does in the ring. But in a follow-up tweet directed at WWE's official social media channels, Styles took a much more serious tone, as we have been used to hearing from him as a heel, and undoubtedly doubled down on his dominance, on his belief that he is the superior athlete of the two, and is confident that he will be walking out this year's Royal Rumble victorious. Thanks for watching today's SK Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories, follow us on all social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.